Hello, everybody. I'm CJ Miller. I'm in my apartment in downtown Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. And of course, we're checking on my plants here. Um, Steve is doing really well. Uh, doing really, really well. I especially expect him to start sprouting another leaf out of the very center in about another 2 weeks or so. Here, Steve too. The last time I checked in, he was doing a couple of sprouts out of the side here, ironically, not out of the very center. And I don't really know what's going on in the center of. Uh, but when I get in here and look, I want to take a good look. Yeah, so it's hard for me to get in here and see where the centermost leaf is. I think I'm right at it though. And I really think, from what I can tell, not too much. I think most of the action is going to be coming in from the side there, which, I'm new relatively new. Steve was my first house plant in a very long time, and aloe vera is very easy to work with. I need to come in and prune uh, in the next week or so some of the drier ends off of these tips. And when I do that, we are going to see some major growth from these plants. Not pruning the leaves, but the drier part. So just yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that now while I'm thinking of it. Uh, and then, of course, my friend told me that this was a type of cactus. I'm not feeling that it is. I don't know, but it's. I don't know, but it does flower. I don't know this plant. I don't know what it's called. Uh, but it's easy to prune when they dry. It's they did the buds just kind of like knock off. It almost self prunes. It's really great, and it's constantly it's still blooming these beautiful little flowers. I love it. So it's great. Uh, Lance, and I've got a little. You know, I want to keep him happy. Keep his soil just this side of dry. He probably could do a touch more uh, moisture in the next few days. Uh, but I would pick these up today. Now, this is a ZZ plant, house plant or whatever. Uh, and I think these are, yeah, dianthus. Got two of them. So they're not very expensive. I'm told that they do pretty well uh, in various climates, and as long as they're given their nurture, the right amount of nurture, and the right amount of moisture, that they're going to do fine. I just got them in after they've been. I brought them home, so I'm gonna let them sit here in this environment, just on this paper plate here, without transplanting for at least a week or so, just to let them get used to the environment. I firmly believe that plants, um, if they're not what we would think of as uh, communicative uh, on a vocal level like we are, and even like as animals that we can communicate, but if they don't have a voice, and they don't necessarily have thought or emotion in the way that we have thought and emotion as animal uh, life forms. There are definite um, commonalities that connect us. I mean, they have a, a circulatory system, and then they have a symbiosis with we who breathe oxygen uh, and expel carbon dioxide because they breathe carbon dioxide or absorb it, find nourishment in it, and expel oxygen. So that's great. What I'm going to do, I guess, in the weeks to come, look for some shelves to put for some of the plants, but they really need little. They love sunlight, so they, once I get these planted and everything like that, I may find a spot outside for them. Uh, right now, I have my artificial intelligent whatever the not really, he's not really, it's a smart speaker, but I think he like predates what we think of as I don't know, he doesn't do anything right, but I think they started dumbing him down so that I would be tempted to participate in the AI, and I'm just not quite there with it yet. I don't want to pay that kind of extra money for it. But the Echo Dot that I'm using, I've named Ziggy, and I have moved him to the hallway on a table because I had all but gotten around to the notion that, gee, I don't really need to do anything with this table outside. But I don't know. We'll see. Honestly, though, I think what I can do, come to think of it, is the table that my Christmas tree is standing on. When I have in a few days, when I decide to take that down after the holiday, then I actually can take that table and I can bring it back outside, and so I can let the plants kind of rest on that. So maybe it's okay. We'll see what happens. I don't know, but if I haven't already told you, I hope you have wonderful holidays. And if you're passing through the Shreveport Bossier area, Northwest Louisiana, anywhere around us, please do come check us out. Um, we'd love to see what's going on. And I've got some more fun things coming up uh, that I will share. I'm still working on a book, but I have an important for me uh, first of its kind vacation coming up in a few months that I want to take, and if that comes through, then I want to use that for some meditative reflection and some of the work that I'm doing, and then uh, when I have processed that and included that, then at that point, the book that I'm working on, that I've been talking about, will be ready for publication. So that's going to be my big goal, my New Year's resolution, which I don't really do New Year's resolutions because I'm not so wonderful with them. But really, the ones that I made for last year, I waited to the very end of the year, and then it's like scrambled, like, oh my God, I said I was going to do this. Let me do it. And that was getting this guest room ready, and getting some for fixtures on the wall, and getting some making some progress, substantial progress with having the apartment be, company ready, you know, which for a long time it wasn't. People would come over and I'd be like, make yourself comfortable, but realize it's kind of, you know, uh, it's, but, that's life, isn't it? There's always a project, there's always progress to be made. There's always ideas to be actualized, and there's always lessons to be learned. Okay. Uh, in just a moment, stay with me. I'm going to come and I'm going to trim some of the very tips of some of these longer leaves off that are getting just a little bit too brownish. And the reason why is because that's pulling too much nutrient away from these plants, but we want to do it in a way that's not going to uh, traumatize or kill these leaves. So hang on, let me show you what I'm talking about. So what I want us to do is to focus on this tip right here where it's just starting to turn. And what I'm going to do is right where the green starts to turn yellow and then it fades to that brown. Well, I've got a paring knife, a really sharp paring knife. And let me do this, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the result. So you can see here, I have a nice, clean cut on it, on the end of that. I did not tear it. I have a nice clean cut. A tear will make it jagged, could possibly tear the skin, injure the skin more going down. And, as this is a very delicate kind of situation, I think I'm going to trim this, and then I'm going to come back and brace some of these leaves a little bit because they're getting a little heavy. And I want to try to encourage as much health with this as I possibly can. But, this is also winter, even in Louisiana. It's not very snowy. We may get a little rain over the next few days, but it's a good weather for a plant like an aloe vera, but they do tend to be a little temperamental or go a little bit dormant in the winter sometimes. And I want to give this Steve. I want to give him the best option, the best chance that I possibly can, because he's given me a few good years of enjoyment and the adventure of learning about things like this. Um, and then the other plants are going to be easy to maintain as I'm getting, suggestions and instruction from people who are more in the know about such things. And I will share that process as we go along in the next year in this next series that I'm going to call Steve and Company, because it's no longer just, Steve. Think of it as a spinoff, of the aloe vera saga. This is Steve and Company. Steve being the name of the first aloe vera plant that I brought home. Yes, I named my plants. When these other plants, when I look at them, they kind of give me a little bit of a suggestion on who and how they can be. I'll give them names too. Hang on. It really is important that when tending a plant, want to look around for leaves on an aloe vera where they get dry like this. This can be, basically this particular, you may remember about a year and a half ago, whatever, I took them outside and let this side sit in the sun too long, and it got burned. And we kept him going for as long as we could, this one particular leaf. There's a couple of others that got a little toasty, but this one really got the brunt of it. And eventually it just succumbed. But we kept it going for a couple of years. But that's okay. When parts of the plant start to get bad, we really need to prune it. This one should have come off some time ago. And it may be one of the reasons why the tips of some of the other leaves are starting to get a little too dry. But, typically an aloe vera leaf will get to be a foot and a half to a foot long as they mature. I did see a lot of aloe vera at the store where I got these, and it's like, oh, you bet your sweet ass I'm going to go back and get some more. I love aloe vera. But, you never forget in anything that you do, your first encounter, your first experience, your first love. And in that case, it would be, Steve. So, okay, I do see this one little tip over here. I want to come over and kind of snip that off. Hang on. I really can't tell if it's me or if some of these leaves have already perked up just since I've been tending uh, to Steve a little bit. You know, certainly hope so. This is one of the leaves that got a little brown that time I took him out into the sun, also, and you can see a demarcation of where the for right here is where the yeah. So I want to just kind of watch him, not keep him out in. If I do a little taking them out to the sun, only for a few minutes in the dusk, and I haven't done that in a few weeks because it's been way too much. So we shall see. But yeah, uh, when pruning, it's better not to do way too much at once. I just did, like I said, some tips of some of these that I thought were getting just a little bit. They'll continue to grow. Uh, they'll continue to grow and he'll continue to sprout. Uh, but what we want ultimately is we want to not let the parts of the plants that are overripe and they're going to start to wilt. We don't want that to draw too much away from the nutrients. Uh, we don't want too much of the nutrients drawn away from the healthier parts of the plants. So I think we're going to start seeing a little bit of a better color and a better result. And then, I really do believe that I'm not just imagining. I'm a weirdo, but I feel like that the love I give my plants. I think that plants give off chemicals and vibrations and they respond. And when plants know they're loved and they're cared for, uh, they show it, you know, and you feel it. There's a sort of a weird transmission that goes on. If you're if you've got some sort of I mean, people have talked about this. There's no scientific reasoning for it, and if it's true or not, what difference does it make? As long as it benefits, you know, the horticulturalist or the plant. What difference does it make? Uh, but what happy plants and happy horticulturalist. That's what this is. This is what I'm doing. Like small flowers. That's horticulture, small flower gardening. You know. Uh, uh, okay. Hang on. So even with these three chairs here, I think I can bring out that one table. I'm gonna get some cushions, some garden chair cushions for these rockers. Hmm. I'm gonna go take a little walk around the grounds. Oh, by the way, this was the outfit today. Of course, I'm gonna put on a cap. My hair it looked much better yesterday. I went out to um, I went out to a the day before Christmas Eve, which was yesterday evening. Went to a friend's house. Hang on. Anyway, I wanted to come downstairs. I don't know why I wanted to show you my outfit in the mirror. I don't know. I like the look. Anyway, the same couple that retired their Halloween party that I used to go to on a yearly basis. Almost every year I went there. Almost, maybe 1 or 2 years, maybe I didn't. But uh, one year I was living in New Orleans, and then another year I think I was just under the weather or whatever for some reason, didn't make it. But every other year since I've known them, I've gone to that party, and they retired it. But they did have us over for uh, 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 I guess eve before Christmas dinner, or if they're friends, they're for their friends and stuff like that. And that way, they can have like Christmas Day to do what they do with their family and everything like that. So it's kind of cool. And it was, and I was able to uh, have fun. I went there, and then of course, kind of like me, whenever I do, and I kind of got the habit from them. When you do something, you make enough, and then you feed people, and sometimes, if you can, you send people home with to goes, and she does that. So I brought some uh, uh, to go containers and took it back. I was riding with a friend, uh, the same one who's helping me with the plants, and we went to his house. Uh, so we could set up some of the plants that he has, and he could kind of talk to me a little about how to care for these new plants, which are a little bit different than a cactus, which basically takes care of itself, and an aloe, which needs supposedly very little care. But I do find that it enjoys, it responds to company, it responds to interaction, you know. And it seems settled in, that Steve plant. So I mean, I've learned a lot. But anyway, and his daughters, I let them have some of the leftovers that I brought and everything. I had some wonderful scallop potatoes that I brought back, and I was like, you can have everything except for the scallop potatoes, but they were gone. They got eaten. That's cool. I had my fill. Believe me, you do not go hungry when you go to this kind of party that we went to. Uh, anyway, uh, and then of course I'm just gonna get together uh, with the friend on Christmas, and we're just gonna do like low key. It's not gonna be a big thing, and we're doing it over at his place, and you know, it's kind of nice. I typically do, since I've been in this apartment. I've enjoyed having events over here, but you know. I don't know. Not everybody enjoys walking up 2 flights of stairs to get to my third floor apartment, and it seems, like a like it's something that we can take for granted. Those of us who are in good physical health that could do that. But there are people in my family who are older, who are in less, uh, physical health, and it's harder for them to navigate. Uh, the apartment and everything. Uh, you know, uh, well, like my dad, is in his mid 80s. I wouldn't expect him to walk up uh, to a third floor apartment or whatever like that. So I understand that. So and so yeah. Uh, but I do enjoy the apartment. I do love it. I do wish that I lived in an apartment that had, not so much for me, but for the sake of some of the people that we do have living here, are a little bit older, and they have uh, issues navigating the stairs. But well, if you lived in a large house, you'd have to walk upstairs. I don't think like a larger house. Some of the nicer neighborhoods that have like the big houses. The ones that look really really beautifully lit with Christmas lights. Inside of those houses, the stairs that lead from the first floor to the second floor, uh, there are more stairs inside in a home like that than there are in my stairwell. And that, I'm talking about just going from one floor to the next. So, yeah, they just tend to be a little bit more of a slope and an elaborate and everything like that. So, I don't mind it. You know, uh, I can basically uh, in my early to mid 50s can basically run upstairs if I have to. Uh, so I may be a little crazy, and my best friends will tell you that's not an exaggeration. Uh, But, you know, yeah. And in spite of me being nearly cross-eyed blind or whatever, I can certainly uh, do some walking. Um, I'm grateful for that. Okay, I really came out to check my mail. Then I was like, let me turn on the tree and I'll see what the tree looks like. Again, I enjoy looking at the tree. You can see this tree that I have because you can see they did nice here too on their displays. Next year, I'm going to work on doing some stuff with the balcony if I find that it's allowed. But basically, the the tree, you can see that tree all the way from that street right there, that common street. Uh, no, that's not Common Street. The street beyond that. Hold on. That street is Common Street. All the way to the other end of this, to the end of our complex. That street is Common Street. And you can see, basically, it looks like my apartment's on fire. You can't quite make out that it's a tree, but there's certainly a flickering flame in the distance. And you can see it. And it's like a little bit of a beacon. I love that. Let me step inside. Oh, look. Finally, something useful from my insurance company. A calendar. Isn't that sweet? Ziggy, turn on all my lights. Okay. So, I've just come in, like I said, and have started to get settled in, and I've got gifts that I'm sharing with kids. I really didn't do any gifts for adults this year. Basically, that was kind of my gift to the adults in my life, that we don't have to exchange gifts this year. Sometimes we just want to simplify things, but as we're all gathering wherever we're doing tomorrow, or we're making our calls later on today and then tomorrow, and we just remember what it's about. And for some people, it is about specific lore, doctrine, philosophy, religion, and everything. But in almost all cultures of the world, when we think in those terms, there's usually some sort of spiritual reflection or something. Even some of our traditions here, of a Yule log, which I don't, I mean, those things come from much older traditions than, say, Roman Catholicism, which inspires most modern Christianity, or, you know, yeah. So it's not so much at this point in the spirit of whatever your faith is. It's not the spirit of competition. It's not the spirit of one-upsmanship. It's not the spirit of who's right or who's wrong, or the differences. It's really just about love, really. Just giving what there is to give. And most of the time, that's love is what you got to give. If you have gifts to exchange, that's wonderful. But that should be, as far as I'm concerned, specifically a reflection of the love. Just the symbol of the love that it is that you're really giving. So that's what it's about for me, and everybody's got their own thoughts and feelings and everything, and I'm not down on anyone or the other, but there's like I said, it would be easy for me to start talking about my personal beliefs, uh, and philosophies, but it's not going to change anybody else's point of view. So it's really, in this case, just about invitation to give and receive love, and that's it. I love you guys. Truly, peace, love, and light. God bless. Have a great holiday.